Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Ken, and today we're here to talk about some Hellraiser. There was a new Hellraiser that dropped on Hulu.
There was?
Today. Yeah, there was. A new Pinhead Hellraiser movie. There's a girl Hellraiser now, apparently.
Yeah.
You excited to talk about that?
Sure.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Hellraiser came out on Hulu today, and we are going to be talking about it, reviewing the movie. But before we get into it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and also comment down below if you watch this. Again, it just dropped on Hulu. So, if you have the streaming service, you can watch it right now. Let us know your thoughts. Also, let us know if you're going to watch it, whether or not we recommend it or not. So, yeah, jumping right into it. Would you recommend this movie? Just right off the top? I'm going to put you on the spot immediately.
I mean, I feel like if you have Hulu, yeah, sure, why not?
Okay.
Although I'm not sure, if you don't pay for the ad-free Hulu, yeah. I'm not sure if it's worth suffering through all the ads.
Hulu's getting ready to get a price jump, I think is what you were saying.
Got a notification when we logged in today.
All these streaming services, that's how they get us. They draw us in and they jack up the prices.
Yeah, I think it said on the 10th it was going to go up $1.
Okay.
And we just have, like I said, we have the one with the ads, so.
Okay.
But yeah, so, I mean, I guess.
I mean, you're not a big fan of this franchise, I guess. But to be honest, who's a big fan of this entire franchise anyway? Because most of these movies are not very good, and it's very well known that they're not very good.
Yeah, but I don't think that has to take away from people liking Hellraiser.
The first two, in my opinion, are masterpieces, horror masterpieces. I love them. I've been watching them since I was a kid. Got my DVD back there. I think I bought that in 2001. So I'm a big fan of the first two Hellraisers. The third one's okay, and Bloodline's all right. But after that, it's just a big, steep drop-off, and they're just all straight to VOD crap. Okay. Or not VOD, but DVD, VHS, whatever they came out on back in the 90s and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, I'm not the biggest Hellraiser fan, so I was kind of indifferent on watching this one.
Yeah.
But I knew that we were going to check it out because, it's on Hulu, so why not?
Well, I mean, you are into pain and pleasure, so.
Sure. Making me sound like a freak or something. But yeah, so I don't know, I feel like the beginning of the movie, I don't know, I guess
First off, we say this about everything, but it was way too long.
It was way too long.
Why do you need to be 2 hours?
Yeah.
There's no Hellraiser movie, I don't think, that's 2 hours. At least I don't believe. Maybe there was one that was 2 hours. I don't know, but I think the first two clock in at an hour and 30, hour and 40.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's just the norm now for movies to be at least 2 hours, at least 2 hours. And so it's pretty ridiculous in my opinion. I think that movies just don't need to be that long. I know there are people who think differently than that, but that's okay. This movie was way too long. The story was extremely slow, the build up or whatever. But I will say, in the beginning, I felt it looked good. I feel like everybody was pretty decent.
Getting into the director, this was directed by David Bruckner, who directed one of your favorite movies from last year, The Night House.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So he directed The Night House. He also directed a movie called The Ritual. Which was on Netflix, and I think we watched that too together. Maybe I watched it by myself. I'm not exactly sure. But
was that the one in the woods or something?
Yeah, it was the people that were. I think it was 4 guys that were camping out in the woods. It's been a while since I've seen it, but there was a big monster that comes out in the end. That's all I remember.
Yeah, I can't remember if I watched.
I remember it being pretty good, but I mean, The Night House is definitely a really good.
Oh yeah.
Psychological horror movie.
I need to watch that again.
My expectations were, I don't want to say high, because again, it is Hellraiser, and we've had 10 really bad Hellraiser sequels. I don't know exactly how many Hellraiser sequels there are. Mm-hmm. But there's been a lot of bad ones, so I was kind of okay, this is Hellraiser. It's not, don't prepare yourself for a movie like the first two, but just prepare yourself for a decent Hellraiser sequel. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Something about this movie just rubbed me the wrong way.
Gotcha.
I did not really enjoy it at all. Again, like you said, it takes an hour to get to the point, to get to anything.
I mean, if not longer, honestly.
Yeah, and it's I understand.
We would get little pieces of the Cenobites, or we would get little kind of teasers of what we were there for, basically. Yeah. But yeah, it was just the storyline was just kind of, I don't know.
I mean, I get wanting to set up your characters and everything. Your
Yeah.
main character, who is played by, her name's Riley. She's played by Odessa A Zion, is her name. She's okay in the lead role, but I don't really care about her character. She's like a recovering like meth addict or something like that.
I think just like, I don't know about meth, but
Yeah, there's something that happens in the beginning. She loses her brother, and basically the whole story is them trying to get her brother back
yeah.
from this other dimension that he's fallen in. But so, I mean, it just takes way too long to get going. It's like I think back to the first Hellraiser, and it's like they can introduce all of these characters and make all the relationships make sense, and you know everybody, and you feel like you have a good grasp on the characters and the relationships with only like 15 minutes of like setup. And then they get right into the Hellraiser stuff.
Yeah.
In this movie, it feels like they want to take like 45 minutes to introduce you all these elements. And it's way too long and it's way too drawn out. It's way too stylistic, I feel like, for a Hellraiser movie. I mean, there is style to Hellraiser, but it's way lacking in vision to me.
Gotcha.
I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, it's weird because I think this is a well-made movie. It's just a movie that I didn't like all that much.
Yeah. And I mean, earlier I said that everybody was like pretty decent or whatever, but now that I think about it, like I forgot that the main character, she did kind of annoy me a little bit. Just her
nobody's
she had this
bad.
Curly kind of like shaggy hair. Just the way that she was acting would kind of like annoy me. But I mean, I guess she still did okay though. I don't know.
Everybody did fine, but it's all of the acting in the show. I always pretty much compare it to like a CW show or like even like a Netflix original like teen series or something. Just very generic, very bland, very uninteresting. Like there's no character in this movie that I am interested in or care about. Like I don't give a crap. When all the Cenobites show up, I don't care about anybody or what happens to them. Yeah, the Cenobites look cool and some of the blood and gore was cool. But like there's no tension, there's no suspense, there's no stakes there because I just don't care by that point.
Yeah, I mean, the Cenobites, like they did look pretty cool. Pinhead, I thought she looked fine, I don't think that it even... all this talk of there being a female Pinhead or whatever, like...
Well, let's go ahead and say it, because I kind of joked about it in the opening, and it's like I have nothing against a female Pinhead. Like the source material itself, Pinhead, or the priest is what they call him, is gender ambiguous anyway. So the source material has Pinhead as a female or a male. Like it's never really clear what it is.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
So it's not like defying the source material or who Pinhead is by it being female.
Right, and I was just going to say that you literally can't tell anyway.
Yeah, like the voice, and I don't know if that's like her real voice. The actress is Jamie Clayton that plays the priest is what they call it. I don't know if that's her actual voice or if they like did something to it. I guess they did some kind of like voice modulator on it or something, but no, I mean, she played Pinhead fine. I mean, is she as good as Doug Bradley in his prime in the first two? No. She does say we have such sights to show you at some point in the movie.
Yeah, towards the end.
And I guess, that was cool to hear her say that, but it kind of just felt like, it kind of just felt like to me, they're just taking all this like well-known Hellraiser stuff and just like throwing it in this like real like artistic and stylistic like movie. And it's like, you'll like it because it's Hellraiser. And it's like, it's not really remembering what made Hellraiser. It's not using the same like thought processes that Clive Barker did when he was developing the story and these characters.
I mean, I will say, not knowing a whole lot about Hellraiser, like Pinhead and the whole point of them, like the story of them, like I was asking you a bunch of questions, like where are they from and like what are their purpose?
Well, it's basically the box, the lament configuration. It like opens the gates to hell, and the Cenobites are basically like minions of Satan or something like that, if you want to look at it in that way.
Yeah, well, I'm
that
not
come to
you,
claim their souls.
Yeah,
of the people that open the box.
To explain it again, but I feel like this movie didn't necessarily, like, for someone who maybe has never seen Hellraiser before and doesn't know much about it, I'm not quite sure if they would understand either.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that they were like, they had some kind of god and they were, they would try to get people to basically give up themselves, or they would promise things but not really give it.
Yeah, they're manipulative.
So, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about, or you want to score it?
No, I think we can go ahead and score it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, everything, like I said, it's a well-made movie. I'm not going to say it's crap, but at the same time, I just really didn't like it. So it's going to be difficult to score, but I think
first, or you got one?
I'll probably end up giving this a 2.5 out of 5.
Okay.
It's just, I didn't like it. I don't think I can get it up to a 3. So I think a 2.5 out of 5 is just about as high as I can go with it.
I'm surprised you didn't go lower. You're like, this movie's not as bad.
I can't go lower because it's not a trash film. Like, it's a well-made movie.
Yeah.
And I get that people are going to like this, but nobody better put this above the first two. I know there's already going to be people that will. And I know that you always think it's annoying that I think movies from the 80s are better. It's not always the case. Top Gun Maverick, I thought, was better than the original Top Gun. There can be sequels that are better. And I don't even know if I would call this a sequel. I think this is a full-on reboot. So I would have to look, and maybe there's Easter eggs that clarify this is in the same universe as the old ones. I don't know, but yeah, it's not as good as the first two, not by a mile for me.
Gotcha.
But
I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5?
Yeah,
that's pretty generous.
Like I said, I feel like had they shaved off 30 minutes, they could have probably kept my attention better.
Yeah.
And I think it would have really helped because, I don't know. Now that I think about it, it kind of gives me a little bit of 13 Ghosts.
Yeah.
Gives me a little bit of that vibe.
I think 13 Ghosts was kind of inspired from Hellraiser a little bit, because when I think about that movie, it kind of does remind me of Hellraiser a little bit.
Just the rooms, kind of, how he had the
everything's
not
a damn
cages, but the gates that would close off in each little.
I mean, it was cool, I guess, but I mean, everything's a part of the damn puzzle box in this movie. It's the roads shifting and everything's shifting all the time.
Yeah.
So you get a little
3
confused.
out of 5 for me. Probably won't ever watch it again, but
Yeah, I like to think I won't watch it again, but I probably will at some points.
You think?
You don't have
I
will.
watch that again.
I mean, I'm not saying anytime soon, but if it gets a Blu-ray, I might buy it and rewatch it at some point, see if my opinion changes. But yeah, it was just lame. It was just a lame movie, Hellraiser movie experience for me, especially when you compare it to the first two. But anyway, please, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Comment down below your thoughts on Hellraiser. We want to know your thoughts on the new Hellraiser. Maybe you loved it. Maybe you don't like the first two movies like you. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Turn on the bell notifications and follow us on our social media accounts. That link is down below in the description. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.